customs union, not customs union, a customs union plus accord? What do we actually know about what the government wants?
I think the government wants a deal whereby they can have free traffic across the Irish border. Equally, they want to be able to do their own trade deals with other countries outside the European Union. There's a conflict there, and they're trying to resolve that conflict, and it's extremely difficult to do. The only way you can have an open border between the north and the south of Ireland if goods can go past freely, and that means they've got to have no tariffs, which is a customs union, and it means there's got to be no regulatory requirements that need to be met, and that's the single market. And Mrs May has said we're going out of the customs union and out of the single market. So her problem is how does she find a way through that? Her proposal is that the customs union, or there be a customs partnership whereby Britain collects the EU's tariffs at a border that goes around the 27 and the UK as well. But her Brexiteers are saying no to that.
Okay, but what about a technology border, right? I don't know, legally, can it even happen?
You can have it legally.
Right.
It's hopeless on the technology. That's the problem. The Max-Fac proposal, as it's called, is that everybody drives freely up and down, and
there's like a chip or something.
Sort of automatic number plate recognition will sort of work out what you owe and take it from your bank account. The problem is it's never been tried anywhere. The technology doesn't exist. There are some people who think you might get there in 5 years, but that's on the basis of never trying it. So, nice idea, might be okay in 10 or 15 years, plainly not okay now, therefore unrealistic. That is why the Prime Minister, who is desperate to find a solution, is going for the more complex, more anti-Brexiteer solution, because she knows that the technology solution just isn't a runner, and everybody sensible realises that.
But who's the Prime Minister listening to, right? So, she's kind of stuck because she has House of Lords, beating her down on everything she does because they just don't agree with it. And so she needs to, I guess, maybe soften Brexit if she wants to please a part of the population. But then she has people within her own party that are very pro-Brexit. So at the end of the day, is it like 50-50? Because if it's 50-50, do we even get Brexit?
Well, she, I think, is finding it very difficult to find a way through all of this. Your question is, who's she listening to? I think sometimes she's listening to the Remainers, sometimes she's listening to the Brexiteers.
Does that give you a strategy, though?
It gives you no strategy at all, because what you're trying to do all the time is inch forward without there being a statement to the British people or a statement to the European Union. This is our overall strategy, this is what we want to do. So, for example, in relation to the trade deal, she's saying we want the deepest, best trade deal we can get for Britain. We're going to go for a free trade agreement, but a free trade agreement doesn't do enough for us, so we want more. Then you say, what more do you want? She doesn't really say. The European Union say you can either have a free trade agreement or you can have the single market, but you can't have something in between, and that's a problem.
How do chief executives make decisions? Because, they come on this program, a lot of them, and actually we thank them for their loyalty, but they're clueless about what happens, so they're making provisions, expecting the worst. But if we don't get the worst, it will be business is lost.
That's exactly right. And I think the longer we go on drifting like this, the more the chief executives who come onto your program who say, look, we've just got to make a decision that we don't know what's going to happen in Britain, and therefore they may be moving to other European countries.
So when do we stop drifting?
I don't know. I think we won't stop drifting for another year or so, because I think what's going to happen is she's not going to resolve any of these issues. It's going to be a fudge, and we're going to be out of the European Union by March 2019. The end-state trading relationship will not be properly identified by then, and as is happening, I notice now, more people will be talking, including Brexiteers, about extending the transitional period. So instead of the transitional period ending in December 2020, maybe it'll end in 2021, and then maybe it'll go on for years and years and years. And that is the way it looks to me like it's going, because she can't politically make decisions. And the basic position of the European Union, you can have the single market, you can have the customs union, but you can't have any changes to it. And if you don't want to make any changes to it, it's just the usual free trade agreement.
Lord Falconer, what if you were completely wrong? What if there was a plan, but it was a secret plan that actually we can't know because it's a negotiating tactic with the EU?
Well, the people you've got to tell about what your secret plan is the European Union. Right. And they don't know about it either. And
they're
if they
playing hardball, right? Negotiation, you can say, well, this is rubbish, 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 but actually they're ready to give way.
I think they will give way on certain things, but they will be things round the periphery. I think their key position is, look, we've got to keep the European Union intact. That's why they're so protective of Ireland. They don't want Ireland to be dragged towards the UK and out of the European Union. They want Ireland to stay in the European Union. And the other thing, the other principle they've got is if you are not prepared to accept all the rules, including on immigration, you can't be in the single market. And so they're not going to budge on that.
I just can't believe, part of me, I just can't believe that the government doesn't have a plan. Right, this is the thing. This is the
Francine,
UK.
I have got news for you. I'm not in the government. I don't know their innermost secrets. But honestly, all the things that I'm being told suggest to me that they do not have a plan. Their plan is what you see, which is we want a free trade agreement, but we want to get some of the benefits of the customs union and some of the benefits of the single market. And that is it. The reason I say that is because if they did have a secret plan, it would have to have been prepared across Whitehall. It would be inconceivable that it wouldn't have leaked out a bit.
Okay, not even a little bit. What about the second referendum? What are the chances of a second referendum? What are the chances of early elections?
I think the chances of a second referendum are very slight. Although there is some support for a second referendum, I think the consequence of there being a second referendum would be that there would then be calls for a third referendum, and this political sort of iceberg that we're in would just continue for years. And I mean, it's obvious we are the only country in the world obsessed with Brexit. The 27 aren't interested, or they're interested, but they're not obsessed with it. America's not interested in it. So we are stuck in this terrible time warp, so we shouldn't have a second referendum. What is the chance of the government falling? It's definitely there, because, as you say, if they don't have a plan, what the hell is going on? And if what the hell is going on, nobody knows, they could be swept aside by a squall or some real knockback either by the Brexiteers, the Remainers or the European Union.
Lord Falconer, thank you so much for joining us. That was Charles Falconer, the former UK Lord Chancellor.